soak a little bit. So we're gonna do a video that's a little bit different today. I've wanted to do, there's a couple videos I want to do that are out of the typical fashion of what I usually do, but I hope you guys enjoy it. This might be fun. This will be kind of cool. So as you can tell by the title, we're gonna talk about the militarization or militarized police, as people like to call it sometimes. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe that they're accurate. So let's do that then. So guys, like I said, this video is a little different than some of my other videos. I'm going to talk about the misconception, or in my opinion, the misconception of the militarization of police. So this has been a big buzzword with this anti-police culture here in the last couple years. I'm sure you've probably seen stuff like this on Donut Operator's channel and stuff like that. We'll slide down here a little bit so that's not so bright right there. But the basic contention is that people feel that the police have gotten to a point where they are militarized and they're carrying military gear and they're using military gear such as MRAPs or armored cats or whatever you want to call them. They're basically armored troop carriers or portable armored vehicles and things like that. And people are like, well, what do the police need those for? So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get into some of the history as to why. Like people are like, why do police need AR-15s? And the main gist of it is because the fucking bad guys have them. I don't know if you know this, police don't like getting shot. And if they're getting shot at, they would like to have a weapon that they can shoot back a commensurate distance. If I've got an AR-15, I can shoot at a police officer way farther away than he can shoot at me with a 9mm. I have that safety barrier. If we're on an even playing field, his level of training is going to be taken into consideration. The probability of that criminal being able to continue said action is much less, because police are trained. Now, some agencies are trained better than others, and it goes back to a funding issue, which is the second point that I'm going to get to, which is why they have this equipment. Well, there's two big reasons. I don't know if you guys remember the North Hollywood shooting. It was back in the 90s. So since the proliferation of body armor and things like that, police have, a 9mm will not get through level 3 body armor. And you can get that stuff fucking next to anywhere now. On eBay, you can get it just like a surplus stores, stuff like that. Body armor is the main reason that police officers now carry a patrol rifle. And I will send this to my friend Pip Corona, and if Pip's got any issues that he sees that I'm off base on this, then I will honor whatever he puts in the comments, and I'll pin it so that you guys can see where maybe I stepped awry on this. But the main reason is, after the North Hollywood shooting, and I took notes. This is an honest to goodness video here this time. I have a little script that I written up. So North Hollywood shooting. Like I say, the two individuals you just saw in the picture, I decided to pause because that'd be a good idea to edit in a picture of the actual perpetrators. They had robbed a couple of banks already and gotten away with it. And they'd gotten away with over $1 million. And they just got greedy and tried to go back and do it again. Well, they went in fully armored with tons of ammo, drum magazines, AR-15s, SKS rifles, Norinco SKS, or I'm sorry, SKS, basically AK variants, which is a Chinese-made Norinco version. And so they went into North Hollywood, I think it was Bank of America branch in 1997. It was, got it written down here, February 28th, 1997. They go in and the alarm went up. They decided that they were going to shoot it out with police, and the police realized real quick that they couldn't do anything to these guys because their 9mm and 38 revolvers, which was the only thing that they were carrying at the time, were ineffectual against the body armor. And so they basically went and appropriated from either a pawn shop or a gun store. It's, depending on where you read it, it was a pawn shop. If you read other places, it was a gun store. And got a bunch of AR rifles to try and return fire. But just the matter of fact was that the amount of ammo they had available to them and the amount of ammo that the criminals, the perpetrators, had available to them was on a different level. They had been prepared. The police were not. The shootout lasted a long time, covered numerous blocks. They chased these people. There were 12 police officers that were injured and shot, some severely, but none of them died, and 8 civilians that were also injured, some of them quite severely in this thing. But the only 2 people that died were the two perpetrators. There was over 2,000 rounds fired in this thing. And I remember watching it on TV. I was overseas in Japan. It was on the news. I just happened to be on a duty day. It was going on, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't see it live. I was seeing a rebroadcast of news that had come in, and we were all like, holy crap, why don't they just get a rifle? But we didn't realize that that was not something the police had available to them. In retrospect, I was like, I can't imagine the police not being able to have a rifle available to them. And dealing with 38 wheel guns, I love revolvers, but that's an arcane piece of technology right there. So what happened was that the only way they were able to stop this was basically SWAT showed up. One of them got taken down and died, and the other one just kept fighting it out with the police. I think one of them shot himself at the same time a police officer shot him. The second one held out a little bit longer, and the only way they were able to do it was because a SWAT officer who had superior training had the bright idea to lay down because the suspect was barricaded behind a vehicle wearing body armor. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen the videos where people shoot through the windshield and it just shoots the criminal. It doesn't work like that. 223, which is what you're shooting out of an AR, it's a really light bullet. It's gonna deflect. So you're gonna hit that glass and you don't know what direction it's gonna go. It's gonna start to tumble. It may go straight, it might wing off. The windshield's slanted, you're gonna get some ricochet effect. You don't know. So the SWAT officer had the brilliant idea that he was going to lay down and shoot the criminal in the legs. Now, I can't remember which one of them it was. I didn't do that much research. Donut Operator has an amazing video, lays this whole thing out. He does through these old police shootings. He digs through it and breaks it down from a police officer's side of view. Now, I am not a police officer. I did work at security departments. I actually had a law enforcement NEC where I worked at security department because back in the day, Navy law enforcement, you had MAs that were in charge, and then you just had guys that had been to basic law enforcement school, which was 95-45, and they did most of the street work. The MAs did the admin and all that, made sure everything was good. It's done a complete change now. There are so many Master at Arms, that's what it is, Master at Arms in the Navy. They make up the entire base police force. So my law enforcement experience is very limited. But my father was a police officer, and so I can tell you that these things are things that police departments think about now all the time after that, because they think, okay, we've got to have some training, we've got to have commensurate weapons, we've got to have the stuff we need to do our jobs to protect the public. And there comes the second one. Why do they have all this military gear now? Well, the federal government had a program where they basically had a ton of surplus stuff, and they're like, we can't use it. It's dry rotting, it's going to waste, it's stuff that other people can use, and they offered it to little to no cost to local police departments and things like that. That's why you see a sheriff's department whose SWAT team has an MRAP, which is a bullet-resistant troop carrier. Well, who's SWAT need that for? Well, I got news for you. There's a lot of times that when SWAT is being called up, it's because the primary target is the general public, and so the SWAT team can come out of the vehicle and get people out of the way and put them in a safe place and make runs and get them out. And you can use it as an armored ambulance to get their fallen brethren off the current area of danger. And it also allows them to show up and not be shot. I don't know if you've watched all the police ambushes and stuff like that. As if I was a police officer, I would definitely want to fucking roll up in a goddamn armored vehicle. So that's where that all comes from. But the whole thing is there's this big misconception that the police are militarizing and it's a way to take down, they're basically gonna form a police state. It's not true. I got news for you. I have a lot of friends that are police officers, and 99% of them don't like much of what the federal government does. And therefore, if the federal government was to try a lot of that, I guarantee most of those cops would be on the side of everybody else that did not want the federal government to do any of that shit. But this has been that big thing where, cops are killing civilians, and cops don't want us to protest and things like that. That's not the case. Why do cops need 40 millimeter grenade launchers? Well, they're not launching grenades with them, fucktard. You know what they're launching with them? Tear gas. Because having thrown a tear gas grenade, I can tell you it's much easier to use a fucking 40 millimeter grenade launcher to do it. And they're not firing grenades. You know what the other thing they're firing with them? Foam rounds. Foam round hits you, you're gonna stop. It's a less than lethal force. It's a new piece of tool and a new piece of equipment that they've got available to them to probably prevent them from having to shoot you. Less than lethal is the way police officers always want to go. I'm telling you, there's two reasons. One, they don't want to have to deal with that stress and that post-stress of having taken a life. And two, it's a lot less paperwork. It's a lot less paperwork to have deployed less than lethal measures than the paperwork it takes because you shot a suspect. So, I mean, am I an expert on this? No, not by any means. But the fact is, I've got enough friends in law enforcement. My dad was a cop. I still talk to police officers back home. These are the things that if people were to look at these YouTube videos that people put up and these tweets and things that people are putting up with just a little bit of common sense, just a modicum of, hey, there's probably a good reason for that. Instead of just, oh yeah, fuck the police and shoot, the police should just be shot. And there's another one that they talk about, the abolition of police. Getting rid of police in total. Getting rid of them completely. You know what? That's stupid. Because while I do believe that when seconds count, the police are minutes away. I do believe that, but that's not their fault. That's our fault. As citizens, keeping them busy with stupid stuff that they don't need to be tied down with so that they can't make it to a real emergency. And the other thing is, the police are not truly here for your protection. If you really want that level of protection, get a bodyguard or buy a gun. The police are not at your beck and call because your drunk boyfriend showed up because you guys had a fight and he shows up and he's kicking in your front door. You should defend yourself. That's where these castle laws and stand your ground laws and shit for. And sorry guys, sorry for the cut. I went on a long tirade that you guys didn't, it just wound up being a bunch of just garbage that really didn't make any sense to the videos. But no, that's my take on it. That's why you see police wearing camouflage, because there was a surplus of military gear and it was given. A lot of these police departments don't have enough money to even put, as donut operators said it once, some departments don't have enough money to give all of their police body armor, which is horrific. And then people just bust on them because, well, why did you shoot? Cops aren't going to take a chance. Cops aren't going to take a chance because I got news for you. A cop can't do his job to help you if he's dead, and two, 90% of them got families that they want to go home to. So, you know, just think about that before, when you watch these videos about the police being so heavy-handed and stuff like that. Please just watch those videos with a grain of salt and think to yourself, well, I wonder what happened before they started filming this. I wonder what happened before the protesters started filming. What had these individuals that were being pepper sprayed or that were fighting or any of those things? Just take it with a grain of salt. Please just look at it. Police are not there. Police are not going out there just looking for somebody to shoot. Like I said, there's way too much paperwork involved in that. They don't want to have to spend that kind of time. Will I say that? Yes, you see it all the time. There are bad cops. But most people don't join the police force to do bad things. They join the police force because they want to stop people from doing bad things. There's my sexy wife. Hi, say hi, sexy wife.
What up?
So, like I said, please try to see both sides of the coin. I know that there's these guys like Sean Houston, not Sean Houston. Can't think of his name now. Sorry, Sean Houston is a Big Brown Bear. He's definitely not doing it. He was EMS. But all of your first responders, they get a bad rap because you see every police officer you see having to deal with stuff like that. That's probably the worst part of his day. And then when you see police throw an attitude to people in a video, I want you to think about, what have they put up with before they show up because you're mad because somebody left Cheetos on your car or somebody soaped your windows. So if they show up and your problem just doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal to them, likelihood is it probably isn't. And they're just giving you, they're at least trying to help you. So just keep that in mind. Be patient with the police. They have a horrible, horrible job to do. And I wanted to do this. Like I said, my dad was a cop. I heard the stuff that he had to deal with as a corrections officer. And the stuff that you see field officers having to deal with is worse. And like I said, Pip, I know you watch my videos. So Pip, if you would like to comment anything that you see below that I might be off base or anywhere I might have missed something, please. Or any of you else that are out there that are police officers, please. I love the comment section. But if you get abusive, like I said, I'm gonna kick you out of it. So, like I said, if you guys like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down, but tell me why. Always down in this corner will be a Patreon link. Up here should be a subscribe, and over here will be a video that YouTube thinks you like. And if you guys want to help support my daughter's ice skating, because it's expensive, down in the comments section, I will have a link to the GoFundMe. Expect a couple videos today. I have another video I want to do about the inadequacies of military justice. I've been thinking about this one for a long time since I told you guys, the Eddie Gallagher thing. So, all right, guys, like I said, the buttons are all over here. I'll talk to you later, and I'll see you in the next video.